This is an interview for peep-Magazine. We're joined with the legend that is Wavis O Shave. Wavis, you handcuffed yourself to Debbie Harry. You're terrified.
Yes.
You terrified Kenny Everett in a petrol station.
Yes.
You rose to cult status on the Time Tees television The Tube.
I'm afraid I did.
How are you doing?
That's for you to decide.
Let's get into it.
Okay. Hey!
What's
Can you
the
see
one?
me?
I can see you.
Just got to get this done first.
Oh yes. Get in between. Yeah, get in between all the bits.
Yeah. Right then. Hello.
Wow. How you doing?
That's for you to decide shortly.
Who is Wavis O Shave, and are you still hard?
Well, one question at a time. Wavis O Shave. I think the Aborigines, right, have told us that all this, all life is a dreamland, okay? We're living in a dream. And I think Wavis is a figment of your imagination.
Wow.
It's like an extra. When you go to bed tonight and have a dream and you get all these extras in your dream video and you don't know where they come from or where they go, I think I'm probably one of those. Popping up, vanishing, coming back. And as for being hard, some people think maybe hard to understand. I'm pretty complex, but really simple with it.
Yes. What can I ask? What was your childhood like, and what was it like growing up in Newcastle?
Grown up, well, there was a lot of groans, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of was, I think I fell out of a low-flying UFO that hit one of the floodlights at St. James's Park, all right? I rolled about on the turf a few times. Then I looked at all these people around me, and I thought, have I got to grow up to be one of these things, okay? But then I saw these guys called the Marx Brothers, yeah?
Yes.
And I watched Marx Brothers, all the movies, and I thought, maybe it's not going to be so bad growing up to be one of these people then, if it's a bit like this. But, I was a little bit of a conundrum to one and all, but, I'm still learning. There was a lot to live down in my growing up, I think.
Did you know at quite an early age that you wanted to express yourself in this way, or did it come naturally to you, or did you have to work at it, or did it just come natural, like all these
people dragged me into it? I'm a very timid, shy creature, and whenever I've been on television, I've been on quite a lot. I'm one of these guys that really struggle to watch myself on the telly. It's like when the Daleks first came on the telly and we all hid behind the sofa, Yeah. Yeah. When I see my characters, I can distance myself from them and think, I quite like that, But I guess sooner or later, show business, was going to tap me on the shoulder and say, step this way, lad. But, I'm not really cut out for it. I've always kind of said, it's like throwing a brick through a window and running off. That's what I did in show business. I kind of gate crashed for a while, took a lot around, had some fun, and thought, well, that's it. I've had enough now. I think I'll move on to something else. But people were reluctant to let me go. People were thinking, if we put up with this guy, we might make a lot of money out of him.
Yeah. That's always the case, isn't it? Money.
Money's not my God. You have to have it, but it's not something that I really enamored with. Just have enough, you guys, to have a comfortable living. I mean, the Euro lottery, £144 million. That's insane.
Yeah.
Nobody needs that amount of money in a lifetime, do they? It's insanity. Why did we ever let it happen? So I wasn't lured by money in show business. Show business, young man, if you don't know this, is simply sex and drugs and rock and roll. I don't know why people say sex and drugs and rock and roll, because I think rock and roll is a southern states term in America for sex. That's like sex, drugs and sex. Sex is nice, but it only lasts 7 seconds. It's overrated. Now, have a nice ice cream on a sunny, hot day. It lasts a lot longer than 7 seconds, yeah?
It most definitely does, yeah. It should.
So that didn't kind of, step this way as much as I like. Drugs, never done drugs in my life. I tell a lie. I do ibuprofen. I can't say it. Ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Liver oil. I've never done drugs in my life because I was born with psychedelic eyes. Yeah. And I have a bit of a beef about this. Why do musicians think they've got to take drugs to be creative? Okay. I've done a lot of music and I never had to take anything to be creative. I don't get that, Another reason why I didn't embed myself fully into the world of music, where I again, gate crashed that. It's very difficult. You remember the movie James and the Giant Peach? It's very difficult to steer the peach and not get drawn into the world of commerce, showbiz. You're an owned property. You're told what to do. Yeah. Everything I did was on my own terms. I had a good bit of fun with it. Mm-hmm. And I still do now when I feel like it.
Well, you're looking well. Yeah.
Well, I'm 903 these days. So it's the ibuprofen. There we are. I said it correctly this time. The cod liver oil. There we are.
Yeah.
Longevity can be yours.
A young Wavis is lying on his bed. He's a teenager. He's looking up at his wall. What posters have you got up on your wall?
Well, as a teenager, hard to kind of pin that down when you're timeless, but I had a bit of a Scottish thing going on. I think I've got a fair amount of Scottish blood in my veins, maybe a tartan heart. Rod Stewart. Friends with Rod, he was on the wall. Maggie Bell, Stone the Crows. She should have been a global, icon. Maggie, what an amazing singer. She sang in Stone the Crows. She was on the wall. And Eve Graham, she was the dark-haired one out of the New Seekers. Yeah, had a Scottish.
Yeah.
Our parents supported St Johnson. I had a bit of thing for her, so there was a few Scotties up there. Yeah. Oh, just one minute.
Fine.
Hang on a minute. Hello? Is it? All right. Keep your hair on. Look, keep your hair on. I'll get it back to you tomorrow. Carrier pigeon, all right? Okay, I'm busy now. Okay, nice speaking to you. Bye. Gary Newman wanting his wig back.
Oh, wow. Is that Gary Newman's wig?
It is actually, yeah. He wants it back tomorrow. Anyway, so yeah, I had 3 Scotties on my wall and a Cocker Spaniel because the other poster was the world's first anti-hero, Sweep, from Sooty and Sweep.
Oh, yeah. What happened to those?
Oh, they're still about. They'll never go away. The franchise was bought by somebody else. They were the longest TV show on British television, I think, the Sooty and Sweep show.
Was that on Rainbow?
No.
Am I thinking something else?
Sooty and Sweep are immortals, honestly.
Sooty and Sweep had their own show, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. It's hard to find somebody that's never heard of Sooty and Sweep.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them. But I thought Sooty and Sweep was with... do you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of
Jeffrey.
No,
you're wrong. No, Phil. No.
Jeffrey and...
The last time I went to see Sooty and Sweep was the first time I went to see Sooty and Sweep. I was 25 at the time. And honestly, Tommy Gibb was there, the Newcastle United right half. Tommy Gibb sitting there on his own. I don't know what the hell he was doing it. Don't know what his excuse was.
Yeah.
The people kept... There was like 5 or 6 of us, And they thought, or peeping through the curtains thinking, what's these blokes doing here? There's no kids, you know, they're going to heckle or something, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I went because I was in absolute awe of Sooty and Sweet, simply because it taught me patience. The original guy who used to do Sooty and Sweet was a fella called Harry Corbett, and Sooty and Sweet really used to try his patience. He's always end up with toothpaste on his face or a tin of paint or something. And I really admired his patience, you know. Him and the Dalai Lama taught me patience.
Wow, so you had a lot of things going on up on the wall there, a lot of inspirations.
Correct.
Who's this?
I don't know, did you see something? He's hallucinating. See what happens when you interview Wavis? He started hallucinating, lad.
I'm just thinking, because we actually got contacted by a guy called Desmond Cahill. We got sent like a random email because I was actually talking about you on a show that we do in Newcastle. And I had a guest on called Mick Clark, and we were chatting about you.
Yes.
And I was like, can you remember the HARD? Can you remember the guy from the Tube? And he was like, oh, yeah. And then the next day, I got an email from a Desmond Cahill. So, Desmond Cahill, whoever you are, I want to thank you so much for making this happen.
Yeah, it's very rare. I don't do these things very often. I really don't.
I know. I was just about to say that, and you don't do interviews, and
I don't. I get offered a lot of stuff, but I don't. No.
Yeah.
No, say, oh, bring the HARD back. Where is he? And he's probably walking to the North Pole with his sleeves rolled up. He's hard to get hold of.
Yeah. I mean, I'm privileged that you're here and you're doing this interview with us, you know. So.
Well, here's one of the reasons why you're called peep-Magazine, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, peep, albeit a short word, is a palindrome. Okay, it reads the same both ways.
Yeah.
And I just earlier this year recorded the world's first palindrome song, "Mr. Owl Ate My Metal Worm," where all the lyrics are palindromes. And it's out on a CD which is coming out in December, so anytime soon. It's called Miniatures because all the tracks that are on it from different artists can't be longer than 1 minute long. But I did the world's first palindrome song. So when you peep turned them off, oh yeah, it's in the air, this palindrome stuff.
Yeah. Oh, hey, that's a great story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I ask, what was the inspiration for the HARD? I've wore this T-shirt in homage to the HARD.
Well, yeah, respect. Okay, okay.
Thanks.
I think. Oh, I do apologise.
Yeah, no problem.
Hello. What? All right, just I'm busy. Hang on a minute. Soots, come here. It's for you. I do apologise.
That's fine. That's fine.
Finished.
Is he okay or
what? It's Gary Newman wants his wig back.
Oh, right. He's adamant that he wants that wig back then, yeah?
Well, it's... Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, where was we? Yeah, the HARD, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I was... Newcastle, South Shields, all that sort of stuff. I like the UFO, studying human beings. And I noticed a lot of these people that were hard. So I did what is generally classified as a lampoon or stereotype of a northeastern hard man. Okay?
Got you.
I mean, perhaps you've ever encountered them. I have plenty of stories about that. So yeah, it's a stereotypical, archetypical lampoon of a northeastern hard man. I have to say, because he's not about at the minute, that the HARD is prone to a little bit of exaggeration in his claims.
Yeah.
Okay? That's as much as I can say. But yeah, I introduced him on that TV program, The Tube, and he was extremely popular, actually.
Yeah.
The first time he was shown on the television, the next week, the program had to go to Manchester to film a band there in some nightclub. And when they turned up there, all the bouncers had Felt Nowt on their T-shirts.
Oh,
that was within a week.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It's true. So yeah, some people reckon he was styled on one particular hard man in particular, who frequented the area where we lived and had quite a reputation. And I thought, no, it's not any one particular person. I couldn't style it on one person and live in the same town, because that would be like silly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? And I did actually have an encounter with that guy one day.
Oh, wow.
And that's a long story, too long for today.
Right.
Oh, is it? No, it's not. It's not. Okay. My mate Gary Bushell, TV pundit Gary Bushell.
Oh, yes.
Who, by the way, said Wavis O Shave is Harry Hill before Harry Hill was Harry Hill.
Wow.
Okay. Gary did say that. I'm thinking Danny Baker said Alice Cooper with concussion. Thanks for that. And somebody else said Kraftwerk meets the Goons. This is all my musical stuff. But anyway, Gary was going to do an interview with me for the Sounds Rock mag, because I was getting lots of stuff in Musical Express.
Yeah.
And sounds, from my musical exploit. And Gary kept saying he'll come and do an interview. But he kept letting me down, he did. So this is the day of snail mail, all right? And I said to him, well, look, Gary, take some excerpts from the many letters that I've sent you. Just take bits out, put it together, and that can be an interview, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
He says, yeah, we'll do that. So about a week later, I've got a full page in the Sound, but he only gone and took bits out of the letter where I was having a little bit of a dig at this hard man who ran the town, who was in Durham prison at the time.
Right.
So I thought, Gary, no. That was just private between me and you.
Yeah.
Now it's in an interview all over the country.
Right.
So that weekend, I went to my friends, as I regularly would. I'm walking along on the way there. There's these two dots on the horizon, and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And by the time they got close to me, they were about the width of the pavement, these two really big guys.
Yeah.
And they said, are you Wavis O Shave, like? Well, I came up with a stock answer, which I would have gave to anybody, yeah? Depends if you want to beat me up or not, yeah?
Yeah.
I said, well, Keith saw your interview in the Soons, and he wants to have a word with you.
Oh, the ominous words.
Right. And off they went. So, that was it. I knew I was dead. I knew I was just being dead, seriously. They had tell anyone what had happened, because they would say, you're dead. Leave the town, you're dead. So I didn't tell them anything. I remember trying to shave that night. I cut myself about 10 times.
Oh.
I didn't tell anybody. And then the months rolled by, and I heard all the guys, on the estate saying, oh, he's nearly up, he's due up next month, like. Yeah. And I'm thinking, oh dear. Anyway, he's out, he's out. And I thought, what can I do? And anyway, cutting a long story short, one day I'm walking past South Shields Town Hall, and then from across the road it's, oh, ye! And there he is, the guy that maybe I styled the hard on, I don't know, I don't think so.
Right.
Now, that's when you're summoned, yeah? You don't run off, no good, yeah?
Did you quietly walk over and...
So, I went over, and where he was standing, I don't know if you've ever been in a fix like this, but where he's standing, you could see it was an arm's length, just an arm's length between him and me, because you knew it could have been like that, yeah?
Right.
And I said to him, I'm a bit of a psychologist, I study psychology and neurology, I'm quite clever in that area, thank goodness.
Right.
And when you tick a box and you put a cross in it, yeah? and that means no.
Yeah.
Right? So I stood facing him like that, with my arms crossed, just like that. You know, psychologically, the cross is saying no, right? And I said to him, "Oh, do you really think me? Look, there's not a muscle on me. Do you really think I would take the out of you? Really?" I said, "Is that Gabby Bushell? And that'll do to me." And he kind of looked me up and down, you know, because there's not much on me. They're playing to the ego. Do you really think I would? All right then. You do it again, I'll kill you.
Oh.
And off he went, right? I'm thinking, my God. And then I'm just walking off. This, right? I'm thinking,
Oh, you've nearly got away.
and he said, "I saw you on the telly last week. I liked it."
Right.
Yeah. And whenever I saw him, you know, crossroads, he waved when he was out and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
So yeah, there you go. I'm not saying I did style it on that fella, because that would be a dangerous thing to do. But look, you know, that was the encounter that I had, possibly through the whole misunderstanding. But yeah, the HARD is a lampoon of northeastern or any geographical hard man, really.
I think we've all know or met someone a bit like the HARD. Not mentioning any names, but I think I've met a couple of them people.
Well, I'm sure you have.
Do you know what I mean? Is there a comedian, celebrity, or musician that you really admire? Like,
I
today?
kind of admire everybody who makes the effort, because they're open to a lot of criticism from jealous people and frustrated, you know, rock stars who end up being musical journalists, you know. Yeah. I do admire people's effort. So anybody that makes the effort, I applaud, you know. Mm-hmm. No one in particular. I just appreciate everybody's efforts, because in life, you know, you can make no effort or you can make all the effort. Making the effort doesn't guarantee you success, but it's good for the soul.
Yeah.
Not in particular. I did like the people who changed their images and, you know, presentations every so often. David Bowie did that. Gaga did that. A few people changed, you know, they like this, then they change that image so you don't get bored or fed up with it. I changed my name. Wavis O Shave was quite a popular personal name, right? And people just got the hang of it. I love the name because I know for a fact some people would go in a record shop, and be embarrassed to say, "Can I have that single by Wavis O Shave?" It was like a funny thing to say to people, right? Right. So anyway, Wavis got quite well known because the NME, the New Musical Express, tried to bag me, and the Sounds tried to bag me, and they were like enemy magazines, you know. Normally one of them would bag you and the other would diss you, but they both wanted a bit of awareness. So I got lots of press, and people knew the name quite well. So what did I do? Having got an established name, I changed it, and Bobo Spearjig.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think, oh, you know, it's somebody else then. Yeah. And I do still do this today. I've got about 6 names and 12 birthdays. Yeah.
Quite hard to keep track of, but not really for a man of your talents.
I don't know if it's talents. That's open to interpretation. Yeah.
So can I ask, how did the Tube contract come about? How was that right time, right place, or how did that come about?
Well, in those days, VHS videos were just being made available in people's homes. You know, people who had a bit more dosh could buy them. Yeah. And I knew a fella who bought them. Not many people had them. He bought them, and he was doing all sorts of marriage videos. You know, isn't it? To make some money, he was filming weddings, and I knew him quite well. And I said, "Can we do some movies? I've got these ideas in my head," because I'm like, all day long, it's like emails passing through. I've all these sketches and everything. And it's nice to get them out of your head, you know. It takes 30 years to get one out of your head, really. Yeah. So we started filming these movies that I did, comedy movies that lasted on average about 45 minutes. This is where the HARD was born, actually. Yeah, I did the HARD movie, and I did Enter the HARD, where he fought Bruce Lee with a bit of skillful edit in that one. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Very rare.
Very rare.
I've kept it off YouTube to make it rare. Yeah?
Oh, wow.
It's very rare. Anyway, so I did all these characters, and this was the days before Harry Enfield had cottoned on to do lots of characters, you know. I was suddenly doing lots of characters. Even on the tube, I did 3 characters, but most people didn't recognise it was me every time. They just thought, oh, that guy, he's just the hard. But yeah, I did 3 characters. So I made all these like movies, 5 or 6 or 7 of them, and all that. The lads would strike copies off, and they'd go around the council estates. And they were like, wow, they really took off. Now, at the time, I'd started a bit of a musical career as well. Malcolm Gary, who was like pretty much one of the overall heads of the tube, was aware of my music and a bit of a fan. I always find it hard to say when a person's a fan. I've got fans. But anyway, he was a fan of my stuff. He was doing music shows before the tube, Razzmatazz, and there was a youth magazine called Check It Out. So he was aware of me, and he said, oh, come on and do one of your songs, you know, on a music show. You know, do Don't Crush Bees to Death with the end of your walking stick, or do You Think You're a Woman because you don't eat fish cakes, you know, one of those little toe tappers. And I thought, well, that's a bit obvious, really, asking me on a music show to do a song. Can't we do something different? He says, like what? I says, a comedy sketch. He said, can you write one? I had it on his desk within 6 hours. So when the tube came along, and he'd also had his copies of the HARD, these little movies that he used to make, he said, got to have him on the tube, you know. Bring him in. And I thought, can't you just use the videos? Have I really got to do it again with time? You know, can't you just use the ones I'll give you? Have I really got to, you know, come in and do it all again? But yeah, I had to, and that was the start of it, really. Being in the right place at the right time. It was just like I said earlier on, you know, sooner or later, people are going to drag you in.
Yeah.
Say, we want you to do something. And when I had done enough of it, it's like a good sportsman, you quit at the top. You know, you don't lose your popularity.
Yeah.
You walk away. I mean, I have a Twitter account. Apparently, to be a celebrity, you've got to have 30,000 followers, okay? I keep my followers down at about 200. Because I like being a cult.
Fine, that's great. You know, because I didn't watch the tube, you know, when it was live on Channel 4. Was it?
Nights, yeah.
Oh yes. There was. I've only watched like a full episode, like maybe 1 or 2, because they're on YouTube, and and then there was just these little intersections of the HARD, and I was like, what the hell is this? But it was so like refreshing and alternative. It was I hadn't seen anything.
I apologise for this.
Fine. And I kind of hadn't seen anything like that before, and it was just like surreal sketches.
Yeah. Surreal. I mean,
yeah.
You've never heard a hard man say, I'll punch you in your best friend's moustache, have you?
No. You said something about punching someone in the teeth and they get the dentist to...
No, it's just surreal. I'm a bit of a surrealist. The thing is, that what happened was, you know, if I rang them up and said, I've got a sketch, can we do it? They'd work, you know, they'd fit it in the tight schedules. But I rarely did, because I went, well, I really didn't want to do too much. It's like more is little. Was it Lao Tzu, you know, the great philosopher? The greatest is in the smallest, you know. The brightest stars in the sky have got the smallest magnitude, you know. Small. No, I didn't want to be a household name. Dreaded that.
Yeah, I can empathise with that. Like, I can relate to that. I keep saying empathise. I can relate to that. Can I ask?
Gary, where is? Anyway, carry on.
Can I ask, what was it like working with Paula Yates and Jools Holland?
Well, they were good. Their chemistry worked, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't bother either of them much, because I don't. You know, I come, do me bits, go. Right?
Yeah.
Paula was very photogenic, I'll say. Very like Debbie Harry. You couldn't take a bad picture of Paula, I think. She was the most flirtatious female I've ever came across.
Wow.
I think. Yeah, that's not a criticism.
No.
Where she couldn't pronounce my name. She couldn't pronounce Fofo Spearjig, right? She didn't like having to pronounce it because she couldn't get it right? And then she wanted me dressing room for some reason. Yeah? To be fair, she was pregnant at the time, and I think she wanted a dressing room that was nearer to the stage. Okay? But she wanted my dressing room. She could have had other people's, but it's like, I want his, not, I want Fofo Spearjig. She couldn't say that. I want his. And then she called me a prawn on the television once as well. I said, fair enough. But my retort there, I sent her hundreds. I had hundreds and hundreds of prawn cocktail crisps delivered as a retort for that one. So I let them get on with it. They were a good front two people, but I never really bothered them. I got on a little bit more Muriel Bray because she's Scottish, like. But I never bothered anybody. Ask anybody I've worked with. They'll say he comes, he's gone.
He's gone. You get your work done, and you leave.
That's it. You're in control then, you see. When I did the Tube, one of the producers, Jeff Wanfor, massive bloke, right? He said to the crew, look, let this guy, let him do what he wants. Just listen to what he says, do what he wants. I'm not going to try and produce this fella, Just listen to what he says, do what he wants. So it'd be like, turn over sound, action, whatever. And I wouldn't tell her what I was going to do. And like the cameramen are like,
yeah.
Cool, you've ruined that. But Jeff used to let me do my own thing. And here's one of my funniest stories of the Tube. I must just say, I filmed a lot of stuff. Most of it never made the air. Never got on because of the watershed the Tube came out. Things like the non-swearies puppet show, which I've also kept off YouTube.
There was a guy talking about that in I forgot his name.
Chris Cowie said it was the funniest thing he's ever seen.
That's the one.
Why the hell would they film something, would go in the editing room, edit it, advertise it being on the next week, and then decide, we can't put that one. Yeah. Because Channel 4 were very strict.
Yeah.
But here's one of the funniest things. One of the best things I ever did is the HARD. Never got screened. It was, the HARD had a posh cousin, a tough cousin, top hat, tails, monocle, the new thing, right? And they gave me a full camera crew to film one day. We was on the Floating Princess. They hired me a gold Rolls Royce. And we got permission from the police to throw a dummy off the Tyne Bridge,
wow.
There, right? Wow. And we did all this, and it was a long day, and the crew progressively throughout the day were getting more and more drunk, yeah?
Right.
Because they were free for the day, and they got that drunk with stuff to filming up, and it never made it. But the funniest thing was, when I was up on the high-level bridge, whatever you call it there, I said to Jeff, why don't I think I'll throw myself off. Never mind the dummy, I'll throw myself off.
Wow.
It'd be more realistic, right? Yeah? I mean, I wasn't, but people didn't know how to take me.
You planted the seed.
Yeah. So I told somebody else, I said, hey, go and told Jeff. He says, you might throw yourself off when it's a filming, So Jeff, this massive man, come hurtling over me. And he put me up a wall. And he said, if you jump off here, I'll kill you. And that's so funny, because if I jumped off there, he wouldn't have to kill me, would he? That was really funny. Threatened me. You jump off there, I'll kill you.
Oh, yeah.
But it never made it was the best, the funniest, I think, thing I've ever done. And it, it never made the screen. This often happens to, any artist in television, the film stuff, and it just didn't always make it. One or two or a million different reasons.
Yeah. I think you said something about Jools Holland got a cab like every episode.
Yeah. Hey, listen. He has a couple of facts for you. The Tube, as far as I know it, the Tube was voted the 82nd best TV show in the UK ever. The 82nd, right? And they only got £8,000 to do a show. £8,000 to do the show.
Wow.
Yeah. And out of that, Jools, when it was finished, he used to get in a taxi to go home in London, 150 quid. Yeah. Taxi.
It did. When I heard that, it didn't make sense. Why didn't he just get a train?
Yeah, it's all right expenses, you know, all right expenses, but he got a taxi, about 150 quid it was.
Wow. Can I ask, working behind the scenes on the tube, because everyone's got different opinions, especially the people who work there like yourself, was it as exciting working with the people being there as it looked live on TV?
Yeah, it was. It was full of gaffs and all sorts of stuff and running around hectic just before we went live. Yeah, it was. It was exciting behind the screens as much as on it, really. But again, it was a good chemistry of people. So yeah, it was exciting. Dull and boring, it never was. There was quite a few arguments, last minute alterations. Oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. I suffered from some of them. You know, it's on next week. No, it's not. Where was it? It was pretty confusing, but good fun.
Could you share with us the story of terrifying Kenny Everett? Because I used to love Kenny Everett.
Kenny Everett, yeah. One day we was in London and we driving somewhere and our driver said, "Oh, look, that's Kenny Everett alongside us." You know. Oh right, well go on and follow Kenny then. And he stopped off at a Chelsea petrol station to fill his car out. He got and then when he jumped out hot in pursuit, we put like 5-foot noses on, yeah.
Oh wow.
And chased him. Was Kenny, and he saw us and he absolutely pooed himself. And it was like Keystone cops chasing around petrol pumps.
Yeah.
And we got a photograph, that classic photograph, slightly blurred, where he is not a very happy Kenny Everett.
Looks very scared, very...
Crazy Kenny? Yeah. Are you sure? Oh dear. Here it comes. You fat skinny note. Where's my interview then, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Where's my interview? You're not hard enough to do it, are you? I'll put in your best friend's moustache. Me the heart, you fat skinny note. You fat skinny note. You're staring at me. You stare at me hard. You stare at me hard. You think you're hard because you're behind a screen, aren't you? You're behind a screen.
Wavis. Wavis, have you gone? He's gone. Oh wow, he's gone. The HARD destroyed our interview. Oh. It looks like the HARD destroyed our interview with Wavis, so I don't know if he's coming back. It's hard to tell. But I don't think he's coming back. We had a few more questions to ask. I say we, me. Has he gone? This was an interview with peep-Magazine with Wavis O Shave. And Fofu Spear Jig and the HARD. That's a wrap.